Omar Khadr, can you tell me, do you regret killing Christopher Speer? Do you regret killing Christopher Speer? We're here outside of a courthouse in Edmonton where in a few minutes Omar Khadr is going to be showing up here somewhere. We're not sure exactly which door he's going to come in. Hopefully we're at the right one. He's coming for a bail hearing at 1 o'clock where he's going to be begging or pleading for a Canadian passport so that he can fly to Saudi Arabia to meet his sister, who he hasn't seen in a long time. His sister, who, by the way, has openly supported the mission of Al-Qaeda. We're not sure how this is going to turn out. It's been postponed for a few months now where the Crown Prosecutor has waited, pushed it back so that they could get instruction from the federal government. We're not sure what they're going to push for here in this hearing, but we'll keep you updated with what happens. Omar Khadr, can you tell me, do you regret killing Christopher Speer? Do you regret killing Christopher Speer? Where's the money? Where's the taxpayer-funded fortune? Is it offshore right now? Tell us, Omar. After the hearing concluded, we ended up waiting outside of the courthouse for quite some time, waiting for Omar Khadr and his lawyer to come out and read scripted statements and answer the media's questions. Of course, once they realized I was from the Rebel, they immediately quit answering my questions, as you'll see, but that didn't stop us.
Yes, sir. So, as promised, Omar's got a few words to say, and let me just give you a brief introduction, and then I'll let Omar speak, because I realize, of course, you want to hear from Omar, not from me. I'll just say that Omar came to me and he said he wanted to make a public statement. He's prepared in advance generally what it is he wants to say. I didn't have anything to do with it, so these are not a lawyer's words or anything like that. It's Omar's own words. After he makes a statement, we've decided that he's not going to take any questions, okay? So, and that's, he'd be happy too, but I told him I'd prefer that he not take questions. You can ask me questions. I know I'm much less interesting than Omar is, but I can answer some questions if that helps. But I'd ask that you respect the process that we've adopted, which is that Omar's not going to be answering questions after his statement, okay? So, that said, I'm going to turn it over to Omar.
Thank you so much, guys. Well, thank you for giving me my privacy in the last 3.5 years. I just want to thank the court for a great, amazing judicial system for everything that it's been doing. I'd like to thank the people here in Edmonton, Quebec, and BC, and all across Canada. I've only been met with kindness and warmth. As you know, I just asked the judge to remove the conditions. When I initially asked for these bail, I didn't expect it to take this long. My sentence initially should have ended this past October, but here I am. The Canadian government has put this court in a position where it has to enforce a judgment and a ruling that was derived from torture, the same torture that the Canadian government has apologized for. This is not the first time my life has been held in suspension, and I'm going to continue to fight this injustice. And thankfully, we have an actual court system that has actual rules and laws. Thank you so much.
How can you compare Canada to Guantanamo Bay? How can you do that?
Omar's not doing that. Needless to say, Canada is not like Guantanamo Bay. You heard Omar say right from the outset what a good judicial system we have. And the problem here, of course, though, is that the Canadian government continues to enforce a judgment decided in a different system. So I don't think that's a fair characterization of what Mr. Khadr said. Do you have any other questions?
Even if he gets a passport, which airline in Canada will take him to Saudi Arabia?
You'd have to ask some Canadian airlines.
I doubt that they'd want to take a terrorist across the sea to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Did I understand?
So the day started with us running around the Edmonton Court Centre trying to find out which door Omar Khadr was going to choose to come into the building. Turns out we were right. We were the first to head him off, and he came in the side door here where there's very little media, but we got to him and we asked him if he regretted killing Christopher Speer. We asked him where his taxpayer-funded fortune was. No answer at all. We followed him in, we went up the elevator with his convicted terrorist, and he just stood there with a smile on his face. We went into the courtroom and and sat just right next to him. Actually, when he sat there, we could see his socks. They were very Trudeau-esque. We couldn't get that on camera, of course, because we're not allowed cameras in the courtroom, but what we left with was a verdict from the judge saying, well, it was actually a lack of a verdict, saying she was going to push it back about a week until next Friday. That's when we'll know whether or not Omar Khadr will get a Canadian passport to travel to Saudi Arabia. For the Rebel Media, this is Kean Bexty. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the coverage. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter and Facebook for more information and more coverage there.